Good evening, viewers. I'm Matthew Richardson, and you are watching a special report I'm about to conduct with a historical researcher and Eskimo from Anchorage, Alaska, Salvatore Larosa. I hear him chiming in now. Let's begin. Welcome, Salvatore. How are you tonight?
Hello, Matthew. I am doing great. Thank you for asking.
Well, that's great to hear. Let's start off with some background information. What can you tell me about Alaska?
Well, Alaska is one of the largest states of the United States of America by area, and is situated in the northwest extremity of North American continent, with Canada to the east, the Arctic Ocean to the north, and the Pacific Ocean to the west and south, with Russia further west across the Bering Strait. As of 2007, the population was 683,478, with approximately 50% of the residents residing along the Anchorage metropolitan areas. 2000, Alaska was ranked 48th out of 50th states by population. Alaska is the least densely populated state.
That is some fantastic pieces of information. Now, what about the demographics of Alaska?
According to the 2000 census, Alaskan residents, 69% of the Alaskan residents were white, and 15% were Native American or Alaskan natives. Um, And that's pretty much it about the race and ancestry. As of the languages, 85.7% of Alaskan residents aged 5 and older speak English at home. The next most common languages are Spanish at 2%, Yupik at 2%, Tagalog at 2%, and that's pretty much it.
Wow, that's really great. What about the economy?
The 2005 gross state product was $39.9 billion, which is 45th in the nation. Its per capita was 7th in the nation. The oil and gas industry dominate the Alaskan economy, with more than 80% of the state's revenue derived from petroleum extractions. Alaska's main export, excluding oil and natural gas, is seafood, primarily salmon, cod, pollock, and crab. Agriculture production is primarily for consumption within the states. It includes nursery stock, dairy products, vegetables, and livestock. Manufacturing is limited, with most foodstuff and general foods imported from elsewhere.
Okay. So give me some information about the politics in Alaska.
Well, like all other states, Alaska governed by, is governed as a republic. Has three branches of government. Although Alaska has been characterized as a Republican-leaning state with strong libertarian tendencies. Local political communities have often worked on issues related to use, land use development, fishing, tourism, and individual rights. Alaska Natives, which organize around their communities, have been active with the native corporations. These have been given ownership to large tracts of land, which require stewardship. Um, Alaska is the only state in which possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana is completely legal under state law, though the federal government remains in force.
Man, I guess I really never realized that. So what about the cities and counties of Alaska?
Well, Matthew, actually, Alaska is not divided into counties, as most United States are, but divided into boroughs. Many of them, more densely populated parts, the states, are parts of Alaska's 16 boroughs, which function somewhat similarly to counties in other states. However, unlike county equivalents in the other 49 states, the boroughs do not cover the entire land area of the state. The area not part of any borough is referred to as unorganized borough. The unorganized borough uh, has no government of its own, but the U.S. Census Bureau, in cooperation with the state, divided the unorganized borough into 11 census areas solely for the purpose of statistical analysis and presentation. A recording district, a mechanism for administration of the public record in Alaska. Um, the state is divided into 34 recording districts, which are centrally administered under a state recorder. The recording districts use the same acceptance criteria, fee schedules, etc., for accepting documents in the public record. The state's most populous city is Anchorage, home to 278,000 people who live in urbanized areas. The richest location in Alaska by per capita income is the Halibut Cove. Sitka, Juneau, and Anchorage are the three largest cities in the U.S. or in the U.S. by area. Um, Also, towns of Matsu Valley, Wasilla, and Palmer are projected to experience huge population growth between 2000 and 2010.
And what's the 411 on education?
Well, Matt, the Alaska Department of Education Early Development administers many school districts in Alaska. In addition to the state, operates several boarding schools, including Mount uh, Edgecombe High School in Sitka and Galena High School in Galena. There are more than a dozen colleges and universities in Alaska. Accredited universities in Alaska include University of Alaska, um, University of Alaska Fairbanks, University of Alaska Southeast, and Alaska Pacific University. Alaska has had a problem with the brain drain. Many of its young people, including highest academics, are leaving the city.
Now, from my understandings, crime is a bit high. Is that correct?
Yes, Matt. The crime rate is a little high. And that's because Alaska residents have had a long problem with alcohol use and abuse. Many rural communities have in Alaska have outlawed the import. The problem directly relates to the high rate of fetal alcohol syndrome, as well as the contributing rates of suicide and teenage pregnancies. Suicide rates for rural residents are higher than urban. The domestic abuse and other violent crimes have also been at high levels in the state. Partially, it coincides with the alcohol abuse in Alaska.
Wow, that's sad. Well, on a happier note, let's talk about the culture of Alaska. What is that like?
Well, they have some popular events that do go on here in Alaska, like the Iditarod Trail Sled Dog Race. It starts in Anchorage and ends in Nome. Uh, there's an art championships in Fairbanks, the Alaska Hummingbird Festival, and Ketchikan, and the Sitka Whale Festival, which is in Sitka. Um, there's also the Alaska Native Heritage Association, which celebrates the rich heritage of Alaska's 11 cultural groups.
Who are some notable people from Alaska?
Well, some important people from here include like Carlos Boozer, the professional basketball player, T.J. Conklin, the professional ice hockey player, Ernest Gruing, the former U.S. Senate journalist, Jewel, the singer, um Holly Madison, the model and TV personality, Kurt Schilling, the professional baseball player, Don Simpson, the noted film producer, Susan Butcher, the noted dog musher, and four-time Iditarod winner, Chad Carpenter, he's the cartoonist for the comic strip Tundra, um, Scott Gomez, the professional hockey player, and Sidney Lawrence, the noted landscape painter.
So, what are the state symbols?
The state motto, Matthew, is North to the Future. Nicknames are like the Last Frontier. The state bird is the willow patagon. The state fish is the king salmon. The state flower is the forget me not. The state fossil is a woolly mammoth. The state gem. The state gem is a jade. The state insect is a dragonfly. The state mammal is a moose. Um, the state marine animal is a bow-headed whale. The state mineral is gold. The state song is Alaska's flag. The state sport is dog mushing. Um, the state tree is the Sitka spruce. The state soil is the stele. The state flag looks like this here. See, I think we have a picture of it. Yep, there it is. There's the picture. Yep, that's what the state flag looks like. Other than that, that's pretty much the state symbols.
I hate to cut the interview short, but there's some breaking news I need to attend to.
Governor Palin, what is the best part of Alaska?
I can see Russia from my house.
Wow. And that's all the time we have for you tonight. Join me next week when we join historical researcher and hula dancer Alua Aliki on her report on Hawaii. Thank you guys. Have a great night.